Welcome into a quick hits edition of MMA Live Extra. My name is Todd Grisham, and joining me on the phone from Las Vegas is our MMA insider for ESPN.com, Brett Okamoto. Brett, let's start with Cung. He decided to appeal the one-year suspension he received for testing positive for elevated levels of human growth hormone following his loss to Michael Bisping on August the 23rd. Lee has questioned the testing procedures by the collection agency. What do you expect should and could happen here?
Well, I think first off, it's a good thing that the UFC is allowing him to appeal this process. If this fight would have taken place in Nevada and the positive test would have happened in Nevada, Cung would have been able to appeal to the Nevada State Athletic Commission. So in this case, the UFC is its own regulatory body. It needed to set up an appeals process for its fighters to go through. And in terms of the appeal itself, Cung is going to continue to face speculation as to how he looked when he fought Michael Bisping. This guy underwent a significant physical transformation at the age of 42. That's just not something you see happen very often. But looking at this as an arbitrator would, the fact that certain protocols were not followed when he was drug tested in China, I expect the suspension to be dropped. I do not expect him to have to serve for 1 year, but he's still going to have to answer questions about how he looked that night.
I read somewhere where Cung said it was simply the way the photographs were taken of his body. The shadowing made him look like that, his physique look like that. Brett, me and you should take our shirts off and find that kind of lighting, huh?
Lighting is important in good photos, yeah.
Absolutely. All right, let's talk about the welterweight title match that will take place in December between Johnny Hendricks and Robbie Lawler. We already know who the winner of that fight will be taking on next. UFC President Dana White saying that Rory MacDonald has not only earned the title shot, but that title shot will happen in Rory MacDonald's home country of Canada. In your opinion, should the challenger have that type of fight in his own backyard?
Yeah, I don't have any issue with this fight taking place in Canada. I just think that's part of the territory when you're a UFC champion. 8 times out of 10, when a title fight takes place in one of the guys' backyard, is going to be the champion. It's usually the champion who gets the home field advantage. I don't think the UFC is obligated to make sure that 100% of the time it's in the champion's backyard. You can throw that bone to the challenger occasionally. And again, the UFC is a business. It's going to take the fight wherever they believe it's going to sell the best. And if you are the promotion's champion, you have to be able to defend your belt under different sets of circumstances. And that includes, in this case, if you're Johnny Hendricks or Robbie Lawler, going up to Canada and fighting Rory MacDonald there.
All right, on December 6th, former boxing champion Holly Holm will make her anticipated UFC debut taking on Raquel Pennington. What are you expecting to see from the boxing champion Holm when she gets into the octagon for the first time?
Yeah, Holly Holm is a really unique character right now in mixed martial arts, in that she's still very much a developing fighter, but she's got such a high profile that the UFC just really can't take things too slow with her. I believe that it's not crazy to say that by her third fight in the UFC, she could be in a UFC title fight against Ronda Rousey. We'll have to see how certain things play out. But the UFC is going to put her in positions where it's going to get a lot of eyeballs on her, but they're going to try to offset that by giving her matchups that are a little bit favorable to her, matchups that will allow her to use her boxing and not just get taken down. But Holly Holm is still on a very fast track to the title. She's going to have to learn as she goes and hopefully be ready to defend takedowns if and when they come in the octagon.
At this point for the UFC, it's sign anyone that might, maybe, possibly could give Ronda Rousey a challenge, and hopefully Holly Holm is that person. Until next time here on MMA Live Extra, I'm Todd Grisham. Big thanks go out to Brett Okamoto. Hopefully he'll be posting those shirtless photos of himself on this website very soon.